Welcome back, everyone. So, I had another thought here. We have all of these stories of, like, let's say isekai, which is you are brought to the end of your life in your world in various ways, whether you just teleport from one place to another, or you have the famous isekai truck that brings you to an afterlife. And then the story usually goes from some regular person's experience into this other magical world. But I think the thing that no one ever really pays attention to is what don't they show in these kind of stories. Because, I mean, if we go with D&D classes, for example, which I have right up here, you have your warlock who sells off their basically their free will to some other patron in order to get power. And they basically have to do whatever they do. They will sometimes skirt around it, but there will be consequences. You have your cleric. Oh, what the hell did I do with that? Okay, you know what? We are just going to go with... Oh, whatever. We're going to call this God. This is God now. At least for this video. But you have clerics who will faithfully devote themselves to a god. And so they never really get any flack for that because they know their god's rules, they follow their god, they love their god, and they get powers because of it. And you have wizards who will study for years and years and years and years just to be able to get the power that they have. And then you have sorcerers who basically inbreed in order to keep magic in the family. What is the point here? Hard work is the key to success, but I'm not really talking about this as a lift yourself up by your bootstraps. I'm talking about in these stories because you have an ordinary person going into another world in order to do this fantastical thing, defeat the Dark Army, defeat the Demon Lord, whatever, or even just have a chill life with no determinate goals that they actually need to achieve. Now, how would that go if, let's say, some powerful CEO, I don't know, I'm just going to name one that doesn't exist. How about Jeff Musk? And they were isekai'd into another world. And they were given all of these extra powers that they didn't have in this world. How would that story turn out? They had all the power in this world. And they go to another world and they still have all the power? What is going on there? Would anyone actually watch that? But that goes right back to this. Hard work is a key to success for these stories. And the reason that it works like that is because workers, we are on the bottom. We are always looking to find something that will bring us out of trying to count how much money we have and budget for gas, for groceries, for, I don't know, electric, water, rent. Rent is the biggest one for sure. Now, it would kind of be a heaven even if we still had to work, because we know work. We would go into another world, we would still be given some sort of gift of some determinate measurable amount, even if it is measurable in their world or not. Well, with the exception of chilling in another world with level 2 super cheat powers, because all of his are infinite, and infinite is a whole nother thing. I mean, you should check out the rest of the science to figure out the whole thing about infinity. But there is something that they have to do in order to get to that place. Then you have your Jeff Musks of the world, who They have their power. They buy the politicians. They break down unions. Then why would you have a story about them going into another world where they also have more power than the average human? Even if they don't reincarnate as another human. Why would that happen? No one would watch that. I know I wouldn't watch it. Why the hell would I want to see a CEO succeeding when they've already succeeded far beyond what any human, well, I'd say 99% of humans, could ever even fathom? They have billions of dollars. I mean, the difference between a million and a billion is so vast. It's like 3 weeks versus 33 years. That is a massive difference. Why would a CEO ever make a good story? And all of their power that they use is right back to the Nepo baby, the sorcerers, your warlocks. They sold something of themselves in order to get that power. And we see the Kool-Aid for what it actually is. But they want us to drink it. Of course, they're going to convince some workers that in order for them to get to that point, they had to work so very hard. But usually it's like, okay, my guideline for success: wake up at 6 a.m., work out for 2 hours, get a $1 million loan from your family, and then do some meaningless work, save $10 a day or whatever. It's so disingenuous, and they probably see it. I doubt that they don't see it, to be honest. But they say these things as if they actually did the hard work. As if they were the clerics. Okay, so that's not one from Pit Crew. Anyway, you have the clerics who have worked, have devoted themselves. You have wizards who have done decades of study. And then you have your warlocks and sorcerers. They get their power because of their lineage, which is usually how a lot of rich people get rich, is because they get some small loan of $1 million. And then they use that to be successful. But if you're already standing on the top of a mountain and you already have a jetpack, it's not that hard to get past the clouds. Now, if you start at the bottom of a canyon and all you have are 2 twigs, it's going to take a lot longer to get there because you don't even have the tools that you needed to start out with. And so, I say this, and I am looking at all of you Nepo babies. Your hard work wasn't hard work. You got lucky in what family you were born to, how much money you started out with, where you started out. So, just because you did have to do some hard work doesn't mean that everyone else just didn't do the work. We are doing the work. We are doing the work more, longer, and harder than you guys ever will. And that is why you CEO, ultra rich buying politician, I can't think of a kind word that won't get demonetized, but you guys will never ever understand. You are the Nepo babies. We see you for who you are. I know that there were things in France that happened way back in the day. I don't remember the year. Sorry, I want to be accurate, but some things just come to mind and I just want to start up the camera. Workers make all of your wealth. You didn't make any of it. You got some money from your family, you failed a couple times, you got bailed out by your family or the government or with government contracts, and so you kept your millions, your billions, and you kept on going because you always had that safety net. But what do workers have? You're breaking down Social Security, you're breaking down food access. What do we have? We are working. All of our work has given you money. And you want to say that $7.25 is enough for us? And get the hell out of here. I will always be, at least as long as the world sticks like this, I will always be closer in a macroeconomic way to someone who is homeless, on drugs, and hallucinating than I ever will to a billionaire. And we should know that. It is not temporarily embarrassed millionaire. Temporarily embarrassed billionaire. We didn't get that leg up. We know the work. We do the work. And we understand how it feels when we don't get valued in that same way. And so, I'm going to leave it off here because I'm getting kind of worked up. But workers make the value. You rich Nepo babies, all you do is take. We know that's all you do is take. And that's why, if they ever do an isekai, where they have Jeff Musk as the lead character, that show is not going to last. They might make the first season. They might have enough plans in order to be able to go to, 20 seasons, let's say. But it will not get past the first season. They'll air the first season. People will hate it. It'll get pulled down. And that'll be it. Because the workers are the soul of this country. And you Nepo babies just gotta freaking realize that.